All right, we're going way, way back to the very beginning today to unpack a story that's so much more than ancient history. It's really like a mirror held up to the human soul, and it reveals these timeless truths about jealousy, choice, and responsibility that are just as real for us now as they were thousands of years ago.
Think about it. Before that corrosive feeling of envy ever came between two people who should have loved each other.
Before a sudden flash of rage could just shatter the bonds of family, leaving nothing but heartache.
There were Cain and Abel. Their story is basically the original blueprint for a conflict that has played out in the human heart ever since.
Okay, so our story kicks off just outside of paradise. Adam and Eve are starting a new life, and they have two sons. And right from the get-go, we see this huge contrast in their personalities and their purpose.
Now, this is where it gets really fascinating. Just look at how their names and their jobs kind of set the stage. Cain, his name means acquired, and he becomes a farmer. Grounded, connected to the earth. But Abel, his name kind of ominously means breath or vapor, and he's a shepherd, always moving, guiding his flocks. Two totally different paths, but both essential, right?
And this right here, this is the pivotal moment. Both brothers bring an offering to God. Cain brings some produce from his farm, the fruit of his labor. But Abel, he brings the firstborn of his flock, the absolute best he has to give. See the difference? It's not just what they gave, it's all about how they gave it.
So what was the big deal? It all boiled down to intention. God favored Abel's offering because it came from a place of real sincerity, of excellence. Cain's offering, on the other hand, felt more like one of convenience. It just lacked that heart. In the end, it was the intention behind the gift that truly mattered.
Well, this rejection, it sends Cain spiraling. And what happens next isn't just about him. It's this timeless warning about the dark emotions that can and do knock on all of our doors.
I mean, just look at this list. It's a cocktail of negativity we can all recognize, right? Feeling rejected, embarrassed, insecure. He didn't stop and ask, hey, how can I do better next time? Nope. Instead, jealousy just took over and he started thinking, why him and not me? And that right there is the seed of the whole tragedy.
And this is when God speaks directly to Cain with this incredibly powerful warning. Sin is crouching at your door. Just imagine that image, like a predator just waiting. But notice the second part, and this is crucial. But you must master it. This wasn't a final judgment. It was an invitation, a choice. It was God offering him a way out.
And this, right here, perfectly captures the core human struggle. Every single day, you and I, we face this exact same choice with our own feelings of envy or anger or resentment. The story is screaming at us that we have the power, the agency to choose how we respond. The only question is, will we?
But Cain, he doesn't listen. He opens the door and lets that crouching predator right in. And what started as a simple feeling of jealousy escalates into the first and arguably the most tragic crime in human history.
And you have to understand, this wasn't just some spontaneous act of rage. No way. This was calculated. Look at the progression here. The friendly invitation, getting his brother alone, and then the horrific action. Cain let that resentment fester until it became a plan, and that plan turned into murder.
So when God confronts him, Cain hits back with this defiant, absolutely haunting question, am I my brother's keeper? It's just this chilling attempt to dodge responsibility, a question that has echoed through the ages, forcing all of us to think about what we owe to each other. So the punishment? It was almost poetic in a way. Cain was a farmer, tied to the land, but now the ground itself rejects him. He's cursed to be a wanderer. But then, even in this harsh judgment, you get this profound act of mercy, a protective mark, so no one could kill him out of revenge. It's this complex mix of justice and grace, showing that even in total exile, life itself was still protected.
So why are we talking about this ancient, tragic story today? I mean, why does it still matter so much? Because the lessons are absolutely timeless. Let's break down what we can take from this and apply to our own lives right now.
Lesson number 1, and this is a big one. Comparison is the thief of joy. The second Cain compared his offering to Abel's, his happiness was gone. Jealousy is like an internal poison. It corrupts your heart long before it ever shows up as an action.
Next up, lesson 2. Your heart and your effort matter a lot. Abel was honored because he chose a path of excellence, of giving his best. Cain, He chose the path of convenience. In our jobs, our relationships, whatever we're passionate about, it's that intention, that wholehearted effort that really counts.
And that brings us to lesson 3. You are responsible for your choices, period. Cain was given a clear warning, a chance to turn things around. He had a choice. And you know what? We get those warnings too. That little voice in our head, that good advice from a friend. It is always, always up to us to listen. I mean, this chart just lays it out so clearly, doesn't it? The choices we make have direct consequences. We can choose bitterness and jealousy, and that road leads to destruction. Or we can choose gratitude and empathy, which leads to peace, community, and real growth. The choice is that stark.
So you see, this isn't just some old story about two brothers from the dawn of time. It's a story about the battle that goes on inside each and every one of us. The story may be ancient, but the choice is right here, right now. And it's yours. So the real question is, what will you master today?